Hey there, John in Sports. My last few videos, I've just been talking about, position groups and my expectations this season for them. So, alright, it's time to talk about the offensive line. One of my favorites. I love the offensive line. I thoroughly enjoy talking about it. And for us Giants fans, it's been a problem, going on for now a decade. And it's not like over the years the GMs haven't spent draft capital, and it just hasn't worked out. This line is different, and just how many young players are starting, and it's nice that these guys are going to have time to grow together. And I think the line is on its way to becoming pretty good. I'm like 90% sure that Gettleman will bring in a guard pretty early in the draft, even if the Giants don't take a tackle or guard in the first round of the draft. There should be 3 or 4 day one starters at guard in round 2. So I'm not sure if you're sold on Lemieux, and I'm also about 90% sure that next season will be Will Hernandez's last year here. So if Lemieux takes a second year leap, he could be the long-time answer. Now, Lemieux is a nasty human being. He's fearless, and he is a stout dude. Like, you ain't gonna see many defensive tackles push him backwards. But he did struggle pass blocking last season. He wasn't getting overpowered. He was getting beat laterally. So, Lemieux and Thomas seem to do okay at stunts, though, oddly, last year. So, it should be very beneficial to Lemieux to have gotten all those starts last season. Not many fifth-round guards get snaps like that their first season. My fingers are crossed that Lemieux improves this year and takes that left guard spot. When it comes to Will Hernandez, I have mixed emotions. He's a good run blocker, but it's not a great pass. It's not great at pass blocking. I hesitate to say he can get better in pass blocking. He's going into his 4th season. I think he is what he is, which is okay for this year. But I'm not giving him any kind of big money or even decent money, on the market, because once he hits the market, he's gonna fetch more than he's worth. I'd look to replace him in this draft. I guess you could say he's the new Justin Pugh. So let's hope we can grab Rashawn Slater in the first round. So my expectation at guard is it's Hernandez last year. Shane Lemieux fills the spot. Now on Nick Gates. There's just not much to talk about with Gates. He's a good center, and I expect him to be a player on the line that we can depend on. Gates is a little undersized for interior O-line, but he is nasty. He did a great job for us last year, and I only see him getting better. So I believe our center is here and in place, and that's something we haven't been able to say for a while. So to give credit, give Gettleman, quick shout out. You don't hear many people talking about the Nick Gates signing last year, but it was one of the better moves. Maybe we got a little lucky with the John Halapio injury, because Gettleman had it out for that guy. But I'm gonna give Gettleman credit for Gates. I hope this season he gets another contract. Extend the man now, extend him earlier, keep him in that $3 to $5 million range per season. So, I actually made a video called 4 Breakout Players in 2021, and I had Andrew Thomas on my, as one of my 4 breakout players for this year. So I'm not expecting Thomas to be a top 10 left tackle or anything next season, but I think we'll see him pick up where he left off last year. And Thomas had an awful start, but he worked his ass off. I'm proud of him, and he put together some good games at the end of last year. With a normal, more normal preseason training camp this season, I see him improving and solidifying in the left side, and I think he can at least be around, average throughout the whole season, and mix in a few really good games like we saw last year. Like we saw that 3-game clip where he just getting without pressure. When you give up the most pressures in the NFL, there's only one way to go, just playing around. But I do think he'll be good. He was really good run blocking in his first season. He could, develop into a dominant run blocking tackle. I'll say that. And honestly, when's the last time we could say any one of our offensive linemen had a chance to be dominant at anything? And that leaves Matt Parrott, who I think was our best lineman last season. He was the only lineman in a team that graded 80 or above. That's off the top of my head, so don't quote me. He might have got under 80 that last game he played. So, I understand it was limited playing time, but he looked good every time he was in there, except, the last game he appeared in. So, I accept that teams would have game planned better against him if he became the full-time right tackle. For a third rounder, you couldn't ask for more. And he has some long ass arms. Now he's got some stuff to work on. He stops moving the speed at times, and needs to learn how to, punch a little bit better. He has bad habits, like leaning on his chest into DNs. Now he gets away with it, a lot because of his size and athleticism. But if he don't fix these issues, they will show up when he's a full-time starter. But I'm excited to see what he can do. Full-time and right tackle. And I know a lot of Giants fans don't like the idea of him a pair playing at right guard, but I think he'd be fine at right guard. I mean, go watch him at UConn. They ran a weird offense, where Impaired pulled a bunch and really did really well. Their tackles operate a lot like their guards. So the Giants take a tackle at 11. I'm fine with kicking him in. If Lemieux or Hernandez don't pan out, but if the Giants don't try to tackle at 11, I expect Matt Parrott to be the full-time starter. At right tackle. And if that's the route that Gilliman chooses, I feel comfortable with it. I think because of Parrott's length and athleticism, he'll be able to get by. I don't think a game will be ruined, just because of him. On like a 1 to 10 scale of confidence, I'm about an 8 with Parrott. So I see a lot of people saying that the offensive line's gotten worse because of the Zeitler cut, but I couldn't disagree more. I mean, Zeitler was not good last season. I don't know why he played so bad. Maybe Fleming. I don't know. It wasn't because of Gates, because I watched Gates save his ass quite often last year. So maybe we'll find out he wasn't healthy. I don't know. Maybe regression just set in. It just seems awfully quick. He's never been a maul. Zeitler's never been a mauler. Really. But after what we saw last season from him, we couldn't give him $14 million. We couldn't do that. I just think it's time we go full youth movement on the offensive line. At a minimum, all our linemen at the moment are really good run blockers. So Saquon can come in here and stay healthy. I think he's going to have a monster season running behind these youngins. And I really think there will be a guard added in the draft. Man, if we can get like Slater or Sewell, I think the line is just pretty much complete. And maybe next season, if Lemieux doesn't improve in his pass blocking, you draft another guard, and then it's for sure done. Anyways, that's it for me. That's my expectations and the way I feel about the offensive line. I think a lot of Giants fans are down on them. I'm not as down as most people. I think most of them are very young, very talented, and at a minimum, they're very good at run blocking, and I would expect a much better season than the last two. I believe the last 2 seasons combined allowed like 83 sacks. That's just mind-blowing, and you can't win like that. So if we can get our sacks down to even like 35, 40, I don't know, anything. We can't be having these 50 sack seasons. That just won't do. 45 sack seasons. Anyways, that's it for me. Like and subscribe. Stay safe. Enjoy the warm weather. Peace.